All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 7 of the Enter the Geek Matrix podcast. This is going to be a bit of a different episode, man. Usually we have my co host, Obi-John Kenobi, here, who you all know and love. However, he is taking some time off. As we all know, life happens, things come up, and we all go through difficult times. And we decided that it was best for him to take some time away for a short period. Um, Everyone send him some positivity, man, some love, some good vibes. Send him something on Twitter. You can find him at Obi-John Kenobi. He's linked all throughout my tweets and everything like that. Send him some love, man, because we want to get him back as quickly as possible and get rolling. However, today's pretty cool because I have a special guest here, Patty Cakes. Everybody give him a round of applause. um, you know, it's funny, man, because before the inception of Enter the Geek Matrix, like before me and Obi John sat down and we were like, okay, we're doing this. Like this is happening. I had been thinking about doing a podcast already for like 2 years prior to that. And so of course with that I would think of like, well, what's the genre? What am I gonna talk about? Who am I gonna have on there? And not to gas you up, man, but you were one of the first people who like numerous times came to mind as someone I wanted to have on a podcast. Um,
Awesome.
and the reason being is because I mean, dude, we've known each other for how long? I mean, at least since the start of like my streaming career, right?
Yeah,
And and
same. Right.
and we're in numerous discords together. You know, we communicate back and forth on Twitter. Like you're a wholesome dude, and you're a knowledgeable person. I consider you to be an intelligent person. And again, we're just very interested in tons of the same things. And so I've always wanted to actually really what it is I've always just wanted to have like now a live discussion with you just about
Yeah, absolutely.
anything. It could be anything. I want to thank you again for actually doing the podcast. uh Truth be told, you were even still when I needed a guest host, you were the first person I thought of to message, and just like I
Thank you.
thought, you were absolutely fucking down to do it,
Oh yeah, of course.
and
I'm
that's
I'm
amazing.
psyched.
You know what though? I do feel kind of bad because I was kind of doing not that I don't know you already, but just doing some research on your Twitch and things, and I saw that Mondays is one of your regularly scheduled stream times at 9 o'clock.
Yep, yep.
So I'm cutting into your time, and I apologize for
Oh
that.
no, don't be sorry about that.
Uh-huh.
It's fine. It's not like a hard set. Like it's no big deal if I'm
Yeah,
late. No
yeah.
problem at all.
Okay. Well, so before we actually get into anything specific, let's talk a little bit about you. So currently, from what I see, you are mainly a Magic the Gathering streamer, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
I've kind of shifted my focus out of like Apex and first person shooters over to like Magic the Gathering mostly.
Yeah.
Just for number one, my mental sake, I can just kind of stream those all day as long as I want.
Right.
Um, and just it just kind of seems like a better community to get into. Seen a little bit more success with Magic the Gathering and been more consistent, I think, with it.
Well, I get it. You
Yeah.
know, I actually Obi John Kenobi was actually the one who kind of introduced me to Magic, and we started playing with this program called Cockatrice, and basically you just kind of downloaded things. It was sketchy,
Oh, okay,
granted.
okay.
Okay, it was, but it was cool because you could essentially for free get anything, right?
Yeah.
But then we transitioned over to Arena, and Arena was really cool just because like the graphical aspect of it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was awesome. It's kind of like, you know, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, and that was something I played regularly. And then the video games would come out and things like that, and so I really enjoyed Arena. I really
Yeah.
do, and I really enjoy the game of Magic. Any kind of fantasy card game is just fun in general. Let's be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I grew up playing Pokemon. It was kind of like my friends were all split. It was either Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, and I wanted to do Magic, but like my parents were like, "All right, we're already spending a ton of money on your Pokemon cards. Don't switch over to Magic."
Right.
So then, like when I'm older and I'm like, I could spend my own money on it, and I can like play Arena. I've kind of gotten re-addicted to card games, but Magic especially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but
Okay.
yeah, Arena is great. Like all the visuals and like it telling you the rules and stuff. I don't think with the Yu-Gi-Oh client, I don't think it like lets you. It doesn't like automatically tell you the rules and everything like that, right?
Right.
Like if you misplay, it doesn't like say you're not allowed to do that,
No, it's kind of
right, or
just
something
like
like that.
it kind of just lets you go. It's
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
like a
Right, right,
mama
right.
bird just kind of letting the baby bird like, all right, you either figure it out or you're dead.
Exactly, exactly. So I mean, that's fun in its own way because you can kind of like make up your own rules in a way. Um, but like somebody who's like starting off for the first time, Arena is really perfect because it doesn't let you make moves that you're not allowed to make, and it teaches you the steps along the way, and it's got a really good like introductory tutorials
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
that's actually what I really liked about Arena is like it doesn't matter if you've played before. Once you get into Arena, they
Hmm.
actually require you to play
Yeah,
through the tutorials and things, which is
yeah.
great, truth be told, because like even when I started to learn how to play, like I said, before I actually got into Arena, and it can be confusing. It
Oh
really
my God.
can. The way
It,
the mana works, and then the way you flip your cards, like it's really it can be hard to understand. And so Arena I think does a fantastic job by making you go through that before you
yeah,
actually can play. So
and you really like hit it on the nose, and like so there's thousands of mechanics in the game. And they could like bring in some in one set and then take out another one in the other set. But there's like thousands of mechanics. And Arena does a good job of like starting you off with like, all right, here's the mana, here's the attacks, here's the turns, and like just lays it out really simple for you. And then it like gradually adds different mechanics.
right,
Because it's, I mean, there's still, I look at a card and I'm like, what the hell does this card do? Like it's still like constantly learning things in that game because it's so complicated.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous. But it's
Well,
awesome because of that. I love that about it.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really need to get back in and start playing it more, man, because I'm kind of in
Yeah, you
this.
should.
I'm in this funk right now. I mean, I played competitive Call of Duty. I love Call of Duty. Played
Yeah, yeah.
Fortnite for a while. Loved that. Haven't got back on it much lately because I kind of, for whatever reason, told myself I wouldn't go back to Fortnite just because the
Yeah.
state of the game. And
Oof, yeah.
I
I
hop
know
on
what you mean.
Apex periodically. It's fun. I've never had
Mhm.
any issue with Apex. It just it never really grasped me like it did with a lot of people.
Sure.
Um, but I'm in this funk right now where I just it's not that I don't want to play video games. Granted, that will never change. But it's just I don't know what I want to play. Is
Or no, I know exactly what you mean. I'm definitely very indecisive with what I play, and I think that kind of like translated into my streams. And I think I was doing poorly in my streams because I was switching games so often. Because I'm the same way. Like I'll play a game for a day, and then the next day I'll want to play a different game. I just can't get tired of it. But Magic the Gathering kind of seemed to be the consistent one that I was fine playing with every day.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, because I've played all the same games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, Apex, all that stuff. But yeah, I can't play those every day. I definitely need to switch it
Dude,
up.
it's killing. Dude, it's
Yeah.
horrible on your mental state, even
Oh
physically.
yeah.
Like it just kills me. I've worked hard my whole life, but never has a day of work killed me as like a
Yeah.
rough day playing Call of Duty or
Yeah.
something.
Yep. Like your back hurts from sitting and leaning forward and stressing the whole
Dude,
time.
it's
Hands
horrible. I
hurt.
spend
Yeah.
8 to 9 hours playing the game, and I don't get paid shit for doing it. But I'm
Exactly.
just here, just busting
It's
my
like the
ass.
older you get, the worse it gets. It's
Oh,
crazy.
it's awful.
Yeah.
So it's funny, man. I started this podcast wanting to be you, encompass geek culture, and it has for the most part. I mean, we've done episodes on various things, but it's funny because it's almost essentially become a Star Wars podcast.
It's awesome.
But
Nothing wrong with that. You can
no,
talk
no,
about Star Wars
no.
all day.
I'm totally cool with it. And I mean, the
Yeah,
great
yeah.
thing about it is Star Wars has pumped out so much in like the past 2 years
Oh yeah.
that it's
It's
just
crazy.
there's never not anything to talk about. It's
Mm-hmm.
unreal. And so today, why I wanted to have you on here is because we've had discussions for the past couple of weeks and Discord and everything like that. But I wanted to talk about not only Star Wars as a whole, but more specifically The Mandalorian,
Mm-hmm.
which I know you are a huge fan of,
Huge fan.
as
Huge
am
fan.
I. Um,
Love that.
I think we both have the same thought process. This is each episode of this season continuously gets better and better.
Mm-hmm. It's
Um,
crazy.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
you don't think like something like that could just blow your mind
Right.
every episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's unreal. Some of the things we've seen in this season are some things that people have wanted to see for such a long time. Some things we didn't know we wanted to see, but we got to see them. I mean, dude, it's
Yep.
absolutely mind blowing,
Yeah.
mind blowing. So, what are some of your thoughts on this season?
The season as a whole. So I think that it kind of seems like last season they were definitely like geared towards like getting as many viewers as they could and making like a really good show that could like have a wide audience.
Right.
And like so they had a lot of Baby Yoda, they had a lot of like callbacks to the original Star Wars and stuff like that, and like it was just a really good like overall show. But then this season it kind of seems more like they're gearing towards like ultra nerds, like the people that watched Rebels and Clone Wars show and stuff like that, like having a Tano and having Boba Fett with all of his Easter eggs and stuff like that, and like because I mean the true Star Wars fans like have wanted Boba Fett to be just a complete badass for so long.
Right.
Like we saw Django be a badass, but like Boba was always like, all right, he was all right. You could see that he was a badass in the original three, but like he never really had that much
He
going on
didn't
for
get
him
as
in the
much
actual movies.
screen time as Django had.
Exactly, he
Yeah.
didn't get his time to shine, but like we knew he was there,
Mm.
and then they just blew it out of the water in the last two episodes of Mandalorian with Boba. He's everything I wanted him more. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted him to see more of him, and this is just incredible.
So I have to tell you something, and I'll be totally honest. I know you know I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Okay,
Uh huh. Uh huh.
nothing makes me more disappointed than having to admit this. Okay, and now I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it right now. I
Uh
swear.
huh. Uh huh. Uh-huh.
I almost don't even want to say it. Uh, I have
Say
not
it. Say it.
once watched the Clone Wars series.
Oh, you should.
I am right now. I am right now. I'm almost done with season 2. Okay. Now, granted,
Nice. Nice. There's like
I
a
knew who
lot.
dude. I knew who Ahsoka was.
There's like
I knew who Rex
10
was.
seasons.
And
Mm-hmm.
so here's the reason why is because the Clone Wars series started like, and I am an uber Star Wars fan. I mean, the legends that used to be canon before the new trilogy came out. I mean, all that stuff was
Cool.
technically considered canon. So I know
Mm-hmm.
all of that, right? But when the Clone Wars series first started, I was at a point in my life, like as far as like just age and personality and things goes. For one, I was when I did have time to watch TV, it was anime. Okay,
Of
but
course. Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
like I was coming into my teenage kind of adulthood years. So like I had school, I had work, I had
Mm-hmm.
social life, and it just when it first started, I was like, okay, well, all this is doing is almost similar to like a sitcom where it's just telling stories within what happened in between episode 2 and 3. Well, I know
Right.
what that ends up being, right? But also too, I never knew how important Ahsoka Tano was
Mm-hmm.
until like I actually started to like look into it. And I'm like, oh my god, like uh,
Oh yeah.
she was excommunicado from the Jedi. Like this is a
Mm-hmm.
whole thing, man.
Yeah.
Darth
It's a whole
Maul
thing.
comes back. Like this is the shit that I wanted to see happen, but I was so ignorant and wanting to watch it. I was like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, dude. And it kind of turns you off for a second because it like if you first look at it, it looks like a kid show, but like it's so much deeper than that. Like they get into some dark stuff in that show,
Yeah.
and like I'm kind of the same way where I started watching it when it first came out, and I watched like the first two seasons I think, and then I stopped, and then like last year I went back and watched it all,
Right.
and it's incredible. Like you'll completely fall in love with Ahsoka Tano. She's probably my favorite character in Star Wars ever.
I have thus far. I think I'm either right at the end of season 2 or I just started season 3. Really
Okay, nice,
excited to
nice.
get to the final season just because I know that's pretty
Oh my
epic.
god.
Yeah,
So
but
they made the final season like years after the
yeah,
previous season, right?
yeah,
Because they made it like on Disney Plus. But oh my god, the final season's amazing.
yeah.
Like you said, her and Darth Maul is
Well, and
I,
that was something that I
I
think.
can't even begin to describe how cool it is.
Well, any Star Wars fan wanted like Darth Maul to come back, and I think
Mm-hmm.
he was just so enigmatic as a character because it was a Sith Lord other than Darth Vader, right? The dual
Right.
blade lightsaber was fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and regardless, and so I don't specifically shit on Episode 1 like most people,
That's
even
cool.
diehard fans do.
Yeah.
I think because for one, we got an introduction into Obi-Wan Kenobi as a more in-depth character. Alec Guinness did a
Yeah.
fantastic job of creating Obi-Wan Kenobi the mentor, the aged Jedi, the wizard
Right.
almost,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
he did a great job, but Ewan McGregor really brought the character to life. He really is Obi-Wan Kenobi
Oh yeah.
100%. And so episode 1 was amazing because you got to see that fight with him and Qui-Gon. And speaking
Mhm.
of Ahsoka Tano, Ahsoka gets excommunicated from the Jedi and she essentially becomes a gray Jedi. Well, if you look
Mhm.
at like the legend stuff, Qui Gon Jinn, if he had lived, granted, would have been the first Gray Jedi. The whole reason that he
Oh
remained a
yeah.
Jedi Knight and they didn't promote him to Jedi Master was because of his thoughts and beliefs about how the Jedi Order ran. But he was
Mhm.
essentially one of the first Gray Jedi. So
Yeah. That's a really good point. I mean, he's very similar to Ahsoka Tano. How they kind of question like, all right, let's think about like outside of your just blind, no emotion, no anything, like that kind of thing. She just kind of like thinks outside of the Jedi Order, and it gets her in trouble a little bit. But I don't want to spoil anything. But
Yeah.
her mentality is very close to Qui-Gon Jinn for sure. Yeah.
So thus far, and I know you stated it before, and like we just said, it seems like every episode of season 2 continues to get better. And I know
Mhm.
you love Ahsoka Tano, but what is your favorite episode thus far?
Favorite episode?
Now, granted, as far as spoilers go, if you're uncomfortable with it, don't mention anything from the last episode. But anything prior to that, it's been long enough where okay,
Okay.
that's kind of the general guideline with this thing. Okay.
Sure. I think that maybe the Ahsoka Tano episode was my favorite, but probably the one before last where they were like they brought Grogu or Baby Yoda up to the not temple, but like the Jedi
It was like a
dome.
spire type
Yeah,
deal. Yeah.
exactly. And you got to see Bulba just be an absolute badass, just destroying stormtroopers, literally crushing their helmets.
Dude,
man.
him taking that staff, oh my god,
Like the
man.
Tusken Raider staff. That he
It
had or
was
whatever it
insane.
It's
And that was the
so good.
Boba that we all wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wanted to see, and we got it. Like, dude, my jaw was on the floor. I had to pick it up, like, as I was watching the episode because I was afraid I was going to step on it. I was blown
Yeah.
away throughout the entirety of it.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
nuts.
well, and then you get to, for one, okay, we finally got a name for Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I kind of I kind of wish they'd left him without a name. I like him being the child. I have no problem with him being Grogu.
Mhm.
I'm totally fine with that. I kind of wish he had stayed just the child.
I think the child continues. So with Yoda, we had a mysticism because of the character of Yoda, right?
Mhm.
And I think that same species, and with it being named just the child, kind of carried on that mysticism of that species.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that was cool. That was cool. But what I do like about the child having a name now is that, and especially in this season, you really get to see the humanity of Mando. And so giving the
Right.
child this name and their connection and things like that, it really, for me, it almost seemed like it strengthened that bond that
Mhm. Sure.
they're creating. I mean, they're creating it because even at the end of the first season, I mean, you could tell he cared, but at that point, it was still a mission for him. It
Right.
wasn't like, and now we're getting to see like that. This is the real deal, man. That's his kid,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, and it really shows that exactly where he's like, when they're like flying away from Ahsoka, and he's like standing there in the spaceship, and the child or Grogu is sitting right there, and he's like saying Grogu, Grogu, and like Grogu like looks up, and like he has that interaction with him, where like he realizes that he's like knows his name and that they're really close, and he like tries to do the Jedi training with the little ball and everything like that,
Right.
and like the like pure excitement that he gets out of Grogu, like actually like listening to him and actually like progressing as a person and like growing as a person, like he really seemed like a father, like he was like super proud of what he just did,
Yep.
and like having that connection, and like you said, it seems like their relationship has just like skyrocketed, like it's really really close right now.
It really has. It really has.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to see what the power up is that Grogu kind of got from being on that spire there for so long. I mean, because that was
Yeah.
intense. You've never seen any kind of thing in any Star Wars film, TV show, anything where they're just kind of sitting on this pedestal and this
Yeah,
force
it's
of
intense.
power. They're just kind of absorbing this power. And then
Mhm.
so we saw Ahsoka kind of say, well, if you take him here, this is where he's going to make his decision. Well, what was that decision? I mean, because granted, regardless of whether it's the dark side or the light side, right? Either or just whatever his decision is, like he absorbed a massive amount of power, just
Mhm.
raw power, and so it's going to be really exciting to kind of see where this goes with him.
Yeah, exactly. And I think she also said that like once he would be up there, it would send like a beacon out to Jedi to come help him.
Yeah.
Right?
So
So I'm
now
also
who are we going to see next?
who are we gonna see? Right? Yeah, I'm excited about that. So there's like a lot of, now that we've seen all the shows and the games and everything like that, and all the canon, there's a lot more canon than there was when the original trilogy came out. Like there's a lot of Jedi alive right now.
Right.
Um, I mean, I haven't finished Jedi Fallen Order yet, that
Mhm.
game, but Cam from that game is alive still apparently.
Okay.
So no spoilers for that, but apparently he's still alive during this timeline. So that'd be cool if we saw him. I mean, like Luke is obviously alive, and
Right.
at this point, I think at this point he's like recruiting for his new temple, right? Because
Yeah,
this
yeah,
isn't soon after
yeah.
episode
It
6.
sort of kind of falls into that timeline. So
I
yeah,
mean, maybe he's listening for Jedi.
well, and
Maybe.
the unfortunate thing, I saw something on the internet the other day. Who was it? It was someone had photoshopped another actor's face like to be
Yeah, yeah.
young Luke, and it looked good. I would be okay with that, simply because it. Well, now granted, I don't know if they kind of rendered Luke, used Mark Hamill, and rendered him like they did when they flashback to when he was raising or training Ben. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
that could maybe work. I wouldn't necessarily be not okay with them using a different actor, but just kind of okay. So kind of like Ewan McGregor when he decided, or when he found out he was going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, he studied the absolute shit out of Alec Guinness. I mean, he
Yeah,
did
yeah,
not only just his
for sure.
character as Obi-Wan, but just him as an actor entirely. So if they did it in that way, would it not be crazy to like have some new young actor come in to play Luke Skywalker and everybody ends up loving him more so than Mark Hamill? Granted, I don't think that could happen, but it would kind of be that Ewan McGregor, Alec Guinness type deal, whereas Ewan McGregor made Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right, right.
It'd be really interesting to see, and it was funny too. I knew there was talk that Ahsoka was going to be in the Mandalorian, but there was
Mhm.
still a piece of me that kind of hoped Mando was going to see Luke with Grogu. You know,
Right, right.
I mean, because it's with a lot of the new announcements and things, we're all well aware of the fact that the Star Wars universe is so much bigger than just the Skywalker saga.
Mhm.
I mean, it
Mhm.
really is.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what we all know and fell in love with, and that's what we all grew up on, and it's great. It's awesome to see its progression, its conclusion, but there's so much more out there.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite Jedi's of all time, and it would be awesome if they brought this back and made it canon. But and actually, one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time was Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and
Oh.
the protagonist was Kyle Katarn, and
Kyle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kyle Katarn was amazing because he was
Mhm.
like the trifecta. He was a mix of the swashbuckler, smuggler, Han Solo, gritty type, but then he was
Mhm.
also he was almost on par with his Force abilities to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
But then he also had this kind of gray Jedi Qui Gon Jinn aspect of him, and
Mhm.
he was just awesome. I mean, Luke made his new temple. Kyle Katarn, Luke found him. He came
Yeah.
in, and then something happened. I think it was Kyle Katarn's like love of his life died or something like that. He left again.
Yeah,
Then
that
the
pilot. Yeah.
Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast came out, and that's when he decided to come back and relearn his Force abilities. And he was just an amazing Jedi. And
Oh yeah.
so yeah, I mean, there's tons of content out there that they could use and kind of recreate the Star Wars universe with it. Other than the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, no. I was just gonna say. I think I agree with you. I hope it's not Luke. I hope it's not Luke. It would be cool if it was Luke, but like you said, like casting would have to be absolutely perfect, and they've just got so many other options that would be so cool to see these characters on screen.
Right, right.
Like from the video games or from. I'm sure there's other Jedi. Like there's the main character from Rebels.
Oh
Is it
yeah,
Rebels
I actually
or
don't know
not
his
Rebels?
name. Yeah, it's Rebels. It's the
Oh,
dark-haired kid.
yeah, who's like a kid. Yeah, he's
Right.
alive at this time, right? Um,
I would imagine so. Unless he's died in the series, I would imagine he's still alive. Haven't watched that series yet either.
I think I've watched like a season. I need to get back to it.
Right.
It's good so far. It's not as good as Clone Wars, but it's good.
Yeah, Clone Wars I love.
Hmm.
I do like the fact that they did choose Ahsoka because, like I said, I hadn't watched the Clone Wars previously, and then realizing how important and pivotal she was, like during the transition from Anakin to
Oh yeah,
Vader, like
like
I didn't know it was that intense.
yeah. So I don't want to spoil anything for you because it's intense. Yeah. So she, I, my theory is that something that she did could have easily. I mean, because she left the Jedi Order.
Right.
I think this isn't spoiling anything. I think that if she hadn't left, or if they hadn't kicked her out, or if she hadn't like whatever transpired there, um, I think that Anakin would have stayed a good Jedi. I don't think he would have been as tempted by the dark side. I think it directly related to Ahsoka Tano.
Well,
Um,
you can clearly see that he cares for her in the
oh my
series,
God, yeah,
like
and it gets more and
deeply.
more. He cares more for her than the Jedi Order, easily,
Yeah,
like than anything else. She's his number one. It's crazy.
and you're probably right in that aspect. I mean, if she had stuck around, then maybe she could have watched over him more, and kind of
Yeah,
swayed him from the path that he inevitably went down.
Yeah, yeah.
So now
So good. It's so
I
good.
I
Sorry.
I haven't had a chance to look this up, and I'm curious because the first season of Mandalorian was 8 episodes,
hmm
and now let's see, last Friday was episode
think
6 or 7, correct?
yeah, I think the last episode was 7, so I think this is the last episode this week,
That's right. That's
this
right. That's
Friday,
right. I'm really
for the
excited to
season
see how
finale.
this ends.
Mm-hmm.
So, and without
So many
spoiling,
possibilities.
but that message at the end with
Oh my
Mando,
god, that gave me
dude, dude,
chills.
how do you
It was
not
so
shit
good.
your pants after somebody comes over and
Yeah,
says that
right.
to you?
Oh man.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited.
Yep.
The whole series has been fantastic. I've absolutely loved it. Let me ask you this, because this seems to be the popular opinion on the internet. Is Mandalorian the best thing to come out of Star Wars?
Um, maybe. I mean, it definitely like restored a lot of hope in people. It's the best thing to come out of Star Wars in a very long time,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Um, like, is it better than like Empire? Maybe not better than Empire, but maybe. I don't know. It's close.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy the hell out of this show. It's insanely good.
So
Um,
what there's different generations with Star Wars.
mhm.
And truth be told, I don't know how old you are.
Oh no, that's right. I'm 29.
29. Okay, so
There you
so
go.
I'm 27. So we're about the same age.
Nice.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then are you like me in the sense that so like when I first got introduced to Star Wars, it was the original trilogy. My dad made me watch it. My co-host
hmm
Obi-John Kenobi, he's also my cousin. He made me watch it. Right, loved it. Star Wars is great. However, I was coming up in a time where the prequel started airing, and
Yeah,
so
same.
like for me, that was epic. I mean,
hmm
that was insane. And so now you have the new trilogy that just finished, right? And so you have this new generation of fans coming up during that. What do you think about how that transitions, and then but also thinking about it like in Star Wars as a whole, because like you and I, we're fans of it all, right? And we have our
Sure.
thoughts and opinions on not only each trilogy but just each film in general. I'm curious what you think about this new generation of kids coming up with this new trilogy and kind of what they may think or feel about not necessarily Star Wars as a whole, but just the Skywalker saga.
Sure. I think that's a good question. I think that the Skywalker saga is a little less important, it might seem, to the new generation. Like, it seems like the new generation has clinged more to like the Clone Wars and the Rebel show
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Just because I think that the 7, 8, 9 have been less impactful, from what I can tell at least. But maybe there is more than I realize. Um, and I think it kind of sucks because the longer the farther away you are from like the Star Wars that you started with, it kind of seems like the less you like it.
Mm-hmm.
So like the people that grew up with episodes 4, 5, 6, they seem to like not like the prequels at all, and then like really not like 7, 8, 9.
Right.
Um, so that kind of sucks.
So it
Uh,
sounds like what you're saying
because
is we kind of came around in the best possible
I think
generation.
yeah, right. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so. I think
okay,
so.
okay. So we're right there.
Absolutely
Yeah, we're on the same boat
easy.
there. Because it doesn't
And I
fucking matter how late it came out. We're in there anyway.
exactly, exactly. And I think a big part of that is that every new trilogy they kind of start off with like a child, almost like a childish aspect to the show. Like in the original trilogy, or in
Mhm.
the 4, 5, 6, there was like C-3PO and R2D2 were like these silly little drones and stuff like that. And like if you watch that for the first time as an adult, it would look ridiculous. But as a kid, you fucking loved it. And then in the 1, 2, 3, there was like Jar Jar Binks, and which looked a little silly for us, but like it went nuts for kids. Kids loved Jar Jar Binks at the time. Um, and then like in 7, 8, 9, there's like BB-8 and funny things that like Poe says and stuff like that that like the kids love, and I like it too. But it seems like if you're too old and you're too like set on like 4, 5, 6, it seems like people are like, oh, this is stupid. It's just dumb jokes
Yeah,
the entire time. I want to see cool Star Wars stuff because I'm an adult.
yeah.
But like they just kind of forget that like Star Wars wants to cater towards kids too. Like kids should enjoy this. You should grow up loving Star Wars, not just like it when you're a fat old man. Like
Well, and you think
I
about
don't know.
like even when episode 4, the first film, A New Hope came out, it was widely looked down upon. it was looked at as crap. Like, what is
Yeah.
this ridiculous fantasy
Space
made up?
wizards.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
people started to go to the theaters and actually watch it. And then that's when it started to transition, and they're like, holy fuck, we're in something right now.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And then at that point, you're locked in. You're locked, you can't
Hmm.
leave. You're there. And
Hmm.
it's just, it's so, I find it so interesting because I mean, you know how like the internet algorithms work on various sites. I mean, things that you're interested in come up continuously, and so of course a lot of mine is like Star Wars stuff, and it just blows me away the amount of people that just endlessly talk down about whether it's certain films, episodes, the direction, like whatever it may
Yeah.
be. Whereas like me, I'm like, you know what, this is Star Wars, period, and I don't really care about how bad it is or how good it is. Like the Star Wars universe is what I fell in love with. It wasn't
Hmm.
just the Skywalker saga. It wasn't just the Mandalorian. It was everything. Everything. It's in.
Right.
It's. I fell in love with a galaxy far, far away, man.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, I don't give a. I
Yep.
don't care about what you do there. I fell in love with that galaxy.
Right.
That's what I want to be a part of, and
Yeah. And I mean,
that's the
no, go ahead.
greatest thing about the Mandalorian is that now, like with the new generation, we're getting to a point where people are starting to realize that there is more to it than the Skywalker saga. Old fans like us, we thought it was done after we got the prequels. We're like, okay, this was the
Yeah.
prequels into the story that we know and love. Okay,
Hmm.
balance was brought back to the Force at the end of Episode 6, right? It's done. And then we got those announcements. Skywalker Saga's coming back, and that's when all of us
Yep.
just completely lost it. We're like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
like dude, I
Uh-huh.
didn't care about how the films went.
Crazy.
I wanted it
Yeah.
to come back.
Hmm.
It was wonderful,
So
man.
good.
Uh,
Yeah. So fun.
so we have the Mandalorian finale. God,
Hmm.
man, the finale. I
I
hate
think
that, dude.
there's gonna be more though. It's just the
So,
season finale. It's not the
yep,
show finale,
yep.
right? I think they're
Season
like definitely
three,
doing season three.
season three
Yeah.
has been greenlighted. It is
Hmm.
projected to air late 2021, probably around Thanksgiving or Christmas of 2021. So it's going to
Okay.
premiere. It's going to premiere later than this season started, but that's simply because of we got COVID and things like
Sure.
that are kind of halting a
Yep.
lot of things.
It's the fact that it's confirmed. I'm happy with.
Right, right. So I did want to ask you, what are your thoughts on the dark saber? Do you know anything about the actual lore of it? What its purpose
Yeah.
is?
So I need to go back and watch these. They talk about it in the Clone Wars a lot because it kind of started on Mandalore, right? It
Yes,
was a Mandalorian that made the dark saber, and I
correct.
think it was during the Civil War that they made it,
Hmm.
and it kind of like so the Civil War happened like before the Clone Wars
Yep.
started, and then during the Clone Wars there was like the what are they called? Dark Troop? Not Dark Troopers. Night's Watch. Yeah.
Okay.
So there was like Mandalore was like this peaceful place, and then there was like this group of like not bad guys, but like rebels basically that were on like their moon that were called the Night's Watch,
Right.
and they were like seen as terrorists. But I think like that guy got the dark saber that was used back in the Clone Wars or
Hmm.
the Civil Wars. So that kind of like let them overthrow and like take over, and they kind of like became the good guys of Mandalore. I don't know. I don't remember the exact
You know what's funny,
bits
man?
of it, but it's cool.
It's funny that you said that, and I can't remember. I can't remember what I was watching or listening to the other day, but it was essentially talking about viewing it from a neutral aspect, anything from a neutral aspect, the outside looking in, it can become clear which side is good and which side is bad. But if you pick either side and look at it from their perspective, their thoughts, their feelings, and what their objective is really, then
Sure.
any side can be good, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So the dark saber, right, was used during the Civil War, the Mandalorians and the Jedi. The leader of the Mandalorians was the one who usually carried the dark saber.
Right. Right.
Um, one of the only things really that irritates me about the Mandalorian right now is that we see the dark saber.
Hmm.
However, we don't know why Moff Gideon has it.
Well, we kind of do because it was on Mandalore, and the leader of Mandalore had it. And then during the purge, or not the purge, I guess the purge, like the genocide where they killed all of the
Right.
Mandalorians, Moff Gideon was the one who led that, and he took the dark saber from them, and it's just been his like prized possession from that
Right.
That's what
No,
they like hint at. They don't really like explain too much about it,
right.
but
But
that's
so
kind of the
here's my thing about it though. Here's my issue is the Mandalorian takes place after Revenge of the Sith, the fall of the Empire, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So, and then we've actually had hints of the First Order being
Right,
created in the Mandalorian. Okay, so with that being said, obviously we've all seen Episode 9, right? Emperor Palpatine is the front man of the First Order. We just don't see him. Okay, but you
hmm
have
hmm
Snoke, and then whenever Kylo Ren gets in, I don't know specifically when in the timeline. You know what I mean? How that
right,
coincides in
right,
the timeline. But there's some sort of Sith force that is starting the First Order, and the dark saber is a weapon against Force users.
sure.
It's a weapon solely built to combat Force users. So my
hmm
issue is that I would think that someone would take that away from Moff Gideon.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
Yeah,
also,
that's a good
and
point.
here's something to take into consideration. Currently in the Mandalorian, we've had hints the First Order, but they're still technically the Empire struggling to regrow.
Right.
So who is the real? Is it Moff Gideon that's the real leader of all this? You know, and is
Right.
that the reason why he has the dark saber?
Yeah. I mean, could be, could be. I think maybe he's hiding it. I don't know. It might not make sense because you would think that like Palpatine or somebody would be able to sense it
Right.
somehow. But it seems like Moff Gideon isn't. I don't think he's the leader because it seems like his plan to with all the like the clones and stuff that was in episode 2 or whatever of season 2 of Mandalorian. All the ones that look like snow clones. So his
Mm-hmm.
whole plan with Baby Yoda. Um, it seems like there's someone else that's making him do that, and it's kind of like hinting at that it's the Emperor that's like making him make these Force clones or whatever that are he's trying to make Snoke. So I think that that's what it is
So it could potentially
somehow.
be something like right now within the timeline, the Emperor is still too weak
Yeah.
to like not physically, but he doesn't have enough power to actually take the saber from Moff Gideon. So right now he's utilizing him as a tool to
Sure.
grow his own power so that he can come back.
Yeah.
Essentially, what would be awesome? What would be awesome? And this is just speculation. This is just my own feelings about it. Haven't read or seen anything about it. But and maybe it happens on Friday. Maybe it does. Maybe it continues on and happens at the end of the next season. I don't know. But Mando takes the dark saber, becomes the leader of the Mandalorians, and creates a whole new regime
Mm-hmm.
under
Hell
himself.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I think that'd be cool for sure.
Mando's history, even the little bit we know about it, is amazing to me because, and we saw it with I can't think of her name, but the other, that trio of Mandalorians that he met, and she's like
Oh yeah.
apparently the reigning or supposed to be the queen of the
hmm
Mandalorians, but then you have Mando, who apparently he kind of came from a cult sect of the Mandalorians, and so that's why he kind of follows this is the way we don't take our helmets off
Yeah.
and things like that. But now we're starting to see he's transitioning, right? Without
Yeah.
spoilers,
Right.
he's transitioning. He's becoming human. Let's be honest. He's becoming more human,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
and it would be amazing. I'd lose my mind if at the end he takes the dark saber, he reigns supreme. He's got Grogu, the
hmm
Jedi beside him, and
Yep.
then just takes off from there. That
Dope.
would be
Yeah, that'd be
that would
amazing.
open up a world of possibilities for future films. you know,
Oh yeah.
it'd be
Yeah.
fantastic, man.
I mean, I think
Fantastic.
that'd be good. I mean, it makes sense that he would just take the dark saber from him and just rule over Mandalore or wherever he wants to now call Mandalore, New Mandalore,
Well,
whatever.
it's essentially because of him. Even his little cult sect that he was a part of. I mean, they had to disband because of him, really, because of the
Right.
danger he brought there.
hmm
A great storyline would be him getting that dark saber and then him utilizing that to kind of bring them back together,
Yeah, that'd
and
be fantastic.
doing his thing.
Kind of like unifying all the sects of the Mandalorians that are alive.
Yeah,
Like
well,
the
because if you think about it too, I mean, I would imagine that. So, like the sect that he's a part of, the reason why that happens is because Mandalore kind of fell, right? They fell,
Mhm.
and so now you have these true Mandalores, like that trio that he met, that
Right,
remember the old
right.
ways. But then you have these new Mandalores that were created from these sects. So, yeah, dude, that would be amazing. Him to essentially build up this world, this army
Yeah.
of just badass Mandalorians with him at the helm
Be
with the dark,
fantastic.
yeah, him at the helm with the dark
Yeah.
saber, ready to. Oh, dude, it'd be
Mm-hmm.
so great.
That would be cool. They she's that girl that's the leader of those trios of Mandalorians. She's actually in the Clone Wars a good
Oh,
bit.
really?
Yeah, she's like the sister of the queen. So
See,
I don't remember
I sit here
exactly
and
her
have
role,
these
but she's in it a good amount.
I have these conversations about Star Wars every episode, just about. And like I said, I'm just so disappointed that I haven't watched the Clone Wars.
Gotta watch it. It's the
Dude,
best. It's so good. It's so good.
it,
Before
it,
Mandalorian, that was probably my. It's probably Empire, Clone Wars, show, and Mandalorian are my three favorite Star Wars things ever.
okay.
Clone Wars
So
is so good.
you mentioned Empire. I'll
Mhm.
say one of my favorite Star Wars films is Revenge of the Sith, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because there's no better, and I used to have the whole box with like the bonus disc and everything. There's no better choreographed duel fight scene than Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and
Oh
that
yeah.
is a fact. You can at me
Yep.
on Twitter or anything. I will fight you till I'm out of breath.
Uh-huh.
There's no better fight than that, and that actually is a great transition into what I wanted to talk about next. And that's all the announcements that we had just days ago
Mm-hmm.
for all of this amazing looking
There's so
Star
much.
Wars content, man. So, first
Yeah.
and foremost, we got an Ahsoka series. That's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're excited about that. What did you think
It's
about
gonna be
Rosario
great.
Dawson? What did you think about Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka?
I mean,
Now, I'm a
I
huge fan of her before. So,
sure.
what did you
I
think?
think she was. I mean, I haven't seen her since. So she was in Rebels
Hmm.
when she was a little older, about the age she is now. So I didn't see her in that show, but I saw her all throughout Clone Wars, and I think that she did fantastic.
Yeah.
Like she did really well. Like seeing her holding Baby Yoda is just so good. Like it
Well,
doesn't get
and
any better than that.
I haven't
Like her
seen
fighting
Rebels
was
either,
good.
but I would imagine kind of being you know leaving the Jedi Order and kind of going essentially into exile, right? It
Hmm.
would kind
Hmm.
of more quiet and harden someone. So
Yeah,
I think
and
Rosario Dawson's portrayal of her in that respect was kind of spot on.
yeah, and I mean they mentioned that they kind of hinted at that a little bit about her heart has hardened a little bit towards the Jedi, where like because she was so close to Anakin and saw him fall and become such a absolute monster and like absolute destructive power in the galaxy,
Hmm.
that like she's afraid to train any other Jedi in, or because she's afraid that if she helps any Jedi become more powerful, that they'll turn to the dark side, and that they like because she saw Anakin, who she saw as the most like good person in the universe, like the closest person to her, and just completely change everything about him and like become Darth Vader
I mean, that
and
would
just
crush anyone. I mean,
yeah,
it would,
exactly. So
yeah.
she's hardened now, and she's I don't know. It's depressing. It's sad. Like you watch the end of the Clone Wars, like you cry. Like it's sad. It's real.
Dude,
Like their relationship
I'm
is
dreading
crazy.
getting to that point, dude. I really am because I already know it's
Yeah.
coming because I've read about it. I've seen posts and
Hmm.
I know it's coming, but I, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, man. I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm
like
gonna make it.
I mean, it's hard to explain without like watching all of the whole like 10 seasons or 12 seasons or whatever it is. But like you like really get into it. Like you really feel their relationship. The show does a great job of like showing how tight they are and how close they are.
All right.
It's crazy.
So,
It's a fantastic show. Yeah.
did you ever watch? I couldn't tell you what year it was. It was an old show, but it was Star Wars droids, and it had 3PO and
Droids.
R2D2 in it. It was an old animated show. Old animated show. It was campy. It was campy as fucking campy gets. Okay, but it was just fantastic because it was 3PO and R2D2. But the
Yeah.
reason why I bring that up is because we got an announcement for Star Wars A Droid Story, which is going to be
Oh
centered
yeah, yeah,
around
yeah.
R2D2 and 3PO. However, in this, they're going to be following a new hero. We don't know anything about them. We don't know what the story's going to be
Oh,
like.
interesting.
We truthfully don't even know what part of the timeline is going to take place in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's gonna be pretty epic. Um,
Yeah, I haven't seen the old show that you mentioned. I haven't seen that, but yeah, the droids sounds cool. I mean, anything Star Wars, I'm down for.
the old
Down to
show was cool because it kind of followed that same format. I always equate this stuff to like sitcoms, but it's more so like in animation. It's like Ed, Ed and Eddie, or for instance, like there's no story there. Each
Hmm.
episode is its own thing, and
Its own unique sandbox. Yeah.
yeah, so that's what Star Wars Droids was. It was just these small adventures that R2 and 3PO went on.
Yeah,
However,
that's cool.
apparently, from what I've read, this one is going to kind of focus on them following alongside this new hero. Now we don't know who this hero is, whether they're Jedi or a fighter pilot. We have no idea.
Hmm.
But it's gonna be really cool to see R2 and 3PO back in action. Let's be honest, that's the favorite duo of all. We all
Oh
love
yeah.
3PO and R2. They're
Of all,
hilarious.
no matter how old you are, you love them. It's great.
Absolutely, absolutely. We also got an announcement for a Rogue Squadron movie. Which did you ever play
Yeah.
the old Rogue Squadron game?
The old one.
So I believe it was on N64,
I
right?
played the pod racing one. I don't know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think if I ever played it. I don't think I ever played it. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So with the
Is it
film,
good?
oh, the game was great. I mean, it's an N64 game. That's what's so
Of
funny,
course.
man. I grew up playing old games like that, but now, like with newer games and newer graphics, I have such a hard time going back into them because, like, you know what? This is shit.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's nostalgic, but then after a while, it's like, all right, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Have you played the new one? One that came out like this year?
Star Wars
Squadrons?
Squadrons. Yes, I
Yeah.
have. It's actually a lot of
Is that good?
fun. Yeah.
Nice.
I would really like to be able to play it in VR because it's available for that too.
Yeah.
However, I
It's
have it
nuts
for
in VR.
PS4 and it is a lot of fun. It almost reminded me too. One of my favorite flight simulation type games. Not really simulation, but like that was Ace Combat. The Ace Combat series
My God, yeah, of
was
course.
fantastic.
Yeah, they still make them. It's like
Yeah,
on.
dude, I was
There's
surprised. I've
probably
been
like 12 games
surprised,
now.
dude. It's ridiculous. Like the dude, the
Insane.
last one I played that was epic was like fucking 3,
I
and
think
they're
like
still
4 was the
making.
last one, like PS2.
Yeah, dude, and they're still making them. It's insane.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Um,
crazy.
but that's gonna be a new film. Right now, we don't
Mhm.
know. So there's speculation that's gonna tie into some of the characters. Oh, as a matter of fact, the two well, I guess New Republic uh squad members that we saw in Mandalorian when he was in that kind of in the ice there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's speculation that those two are going to be in it, and it's simply because that was actually
Oh, okay.
and I didn't realize this until I read about it, but that was not our first sighting for those two characters.
They
You've,
look familiar. Were they
well,
in like?
no, you've seen them in the Mandalorian before. From what I've
Oh,
read,
really?
I haven't gone back and looked to verify, but from what I've read, like it was brief sightings. That episode in this season was our first like legitimate kind of getting to know them as characters, but
Hmm.
apparently we've seen them before. So there's
Oh,
speculation
interesting.
that they're going to be part of the Rogue Squadron for this new film.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be. I thought they were great. I mean,
Yeah,
I really liked their interaction with Mando there. you
that's
know,
great.
they're like, you know what, you're good now. Now get yourself out.
Yeah, exactly. We helped you enough. Get yourself out.
I
Yeah.
mean, that was awesome, dude. I loved that.
Oh, that episode was crazy with like the spiders in the cave. I was legitimately terrified for him. That was a really good episode.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we
that's so
also
funny.
have a Lando Calrissian miniseries coming out.
Right. Yeah, it's supposed to be a Disney Plus series, right?
Yep. Now, so here's the thing about it. There's been no legitimate confirmation that I- his name's David Glover. I know him as
Yeah.
Childish Gambino, but that he's going
Yeah.
to
Right.
reprise the role as young Lando.
That'd be
However,
sweet.
and some of the footage they've shown, like little snippets here and there, it shows a lot of him. So it's very likely that he'll be reprising the role as
That'd be great.
Lando Calrissian, which would be awesome. I think he was really great. I thought he was very
He was
charismatic,
perfect.
very
Yeah.
charismatic, very Lando Calrissian. Phenomenal
Hmm.
job. He did a phenomenal job. He's a hell of an actor. Community, if you
Oh
haven't
yeah.
watched it, is an
I
amazing
keep.
show.
Yeah, it's at the top of my list to watch. It looks really
Amazing
good.
show. Definitely go
Yeah.
watch it. I highly recommend it.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
also got an announcement, and you'll like. I know you like this. Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Because here's the thing.
Oh my
Here's the
God.
thing. Before
Yes.
you get started, because I have this thing. I don't like to spoil shows for other people, and truth be told, I
Sure.
do this like a whole shit ton with anime. But I'll go through if I haven't watched like watched it fully. But I'm starting it out. There's a couple seasons out. I'll go through and watch because I get so curious. I'll read the synopsis for every episode because I just
Oh, that's
can't
funny.
help myself. So I just realized literally just the other day that the Bad Batch is in the Clone Wars series.
Yeah, I mean, they're in several episodes. I mean, it's probably half a dozen episodes that they're in. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
very
and it's
good.
all like right there at
They're
the end when shit like
Yep.
really heats up and like that. I noticed they're with Anakin a whole lot and
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah, Anakin fits perfectly with them. Like their characteristics of like the kind of like they're following the rules, but they're kind of doing it their own way.
yeah
Like kind of like outcast, not outcast, but kind of like they don't fit the perfect mold of like the perfect soldier. They 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 completely kick ass with Anakin. It's fantastic.
yeah. Well, like I
Yeah,
said,
they're really
I
good.
couldn't help myself but start reading forward, and then this was after I saw the announcement for this series, and then I saw that and I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, it's cool.
So
Yeah, definitely watch Clone Wars. There's
dude,
so
I'm
much in
getting
there.
through it, man.
So
I'm getting
much.
through it. It's my new thing at
It's a
night.
lot.
That's what I watch. I watch
Takes a
about
while.
7 to 9 episodes like every night before I
Oh
go to
my
bed.
god.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It
Well,
becomes
I'm
bedtime.
drawn
That's
into it,
good.
man.
That's good. Yeah, it's hard to stop.
But
Yeah.
you figure, dude, like a show like that. I mean, so we've always considered things like that as a 30-minute show, but we never took into account like there's 5 to 7 minutes of commercials on regular TV. So now
Yeah, right.
I'm
Now
finishing
it's like
episodes
20
in
minutes.
essentially 20 minutes because I can
Right.
if I'm continuously watching it, I can skip through the recap at the beginning. I can skip through the credits. So I'm hitting like 19, 20 minute marks, so I can watch 3 episodes in an hour. So you think 7 to 9 episodes is really only 2, 3 hours? It's not,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's a good
it's
point.
a huge amount of time. Um,
Hmm.
we also got an announcement for
One
one. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. One thing to note that I wish someone had told me during the Clone Wars when I was watching it because I got super confused with that. There's a couple plots that they take out of chronological order. So
Uh-huh.
like one that I remember specifically is the senator that's Greedo's race. I don't remember his name.
Okay, yeah, I
Um,
think I might have seen them already.
he's in a couple episodes here and there, but they're not in chronological order, and the plots don't make
Oh,
sense because that piece of the episode is like takes place before like the previous season, but like they don't explain that at all. I had to like
huh.
Google it. I was like, "What the fuck's going on with this episode?"
Is that
So
literally what you typed in Google? Google was like, "All right, I got you."
Greedo like dude makes no sense in Clone Wars,
Yeah.
like some shit like that.
What is
So like it
happening?
was all over the internet. People were like, "This doesn't make sense. This guy's supposed to be here. He's not there. He's supposed to be this character. He's not this character." Like, because I mean, there's a development in his character. Not to spoil anything, but it makes the next episode with him in it make no sense. And it's so just know that if something makes no sense about a character, just like Google it real quick, and they'll probably say like, "Yeah, this was
I'm
out of
honestly really
the right
glad you told
timeline."
me that because I pay so much attention to the shit I watch. I would have been
Yeah,
here
me too.
stuck for
Yeah,
days. Like,
it
what the fuck
bugged
is
the shit out of me.
happening?
Honestly, the first time I stopped watching it was on that episode. I was so confused by that episode, and I just like got turned off by the show because I was so confused by that episode with his character, Greedo Senator Guy's character, that I was like, all right, I've lost interest in this. I'm gonna watch something else. And then like last year, I picked it back up and got to that episode, and I was like, oh, I remember why I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
And then Googled it, and
'Cause-
now it all makes sense.
So we got another one that got announced, Star Wars: The Acolyte. Now apparently,
Right.
and also unfortunately, because everyone wants them to explore more into the Knights of the Old Republic, but The Acolyte is set in the High Republic era of Star Wars.
Okay.
And it kind of dives into this. It's a mystery thriller type aspect, but it dives into some of the emerging dark side powers. However, other than that, we know absolutely nothing about it. However, would it
Right.
not be awesome to have a series centered around some up and coming dark side user?
So cool.
I mean, they almost fall into the secondary characters, unless you consider
Yeah.
Anakin's transition to Darth Vader as a primary character, which you can because he
Sure.
is, but no exploration into anything further. So that's gonna be awesome to see. We also have Star Wars Visions, which this is my literal.
Visions. What's Visions?
Okay, this is what literally
I don't
gets
know.
me excited. This is going to be a series of short films on Disney Plus, but in an anime style animation.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so you know me, that's my ballpark all day
Yeah.
long, right?
Hell yeah.
So we also have an announcement for Andor, which is going to be a prequel to Rogue One. That's going to explore
Mhm.
the journeys, maybe the origins of Andor from Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
Actually, now that we're onto that, let me ask you: when you consider, let's say you were going to sit down right now, you
Mhm.
were going to watch the Skywalker saga, okay? The
Mhm.
Skywalker saga from beginning, like timeline, beginning to end. Does Rogue One fall into that?
No, I don't think so.
Why?
I mean, it does fit in there, but if I'm just watching Skywalker Saga just for the Skywalker Saga specifically,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it fits in. I don't think it.
Now, so as far as
I
Skywalker
love Rogue
Saga,
One.
no,
Yeah.
but so I made myself this decision when I first watched Rogue One. The next time, and I do this probably once a year, honestly, I sit down and watch it from start to finish. Rogue One falls into that simply because that Darth Vader scene
Oh
that
yeah,
does directly tie into to Episode
that's a
Four,
good point.
but that is an incredible,
Mm.
incredible scene, just
Oh yeah.
beautifully made. It's terror driven, and it's actually funny because
Yeah.
I was thinking about this just a few hours before we started this. Um, like us, we grew up seeing the transition from Anakin to Darth Vader, and it kind of made him this less horrific character, Darth Vader. Well,
Mhm.
I can't remember what TV channel it was on. I want to say it was on Sci-Fi, but every year, around Halloween, all these TV channels will do their horror films and things like that. Well, I can't remember if it was Sci-Fi. Hell, it could have been the History Channel for all I know. But they used to do this thing where it was like the top 50, top 100 scariest villains of all time for a good couple years. And I'm telling you, dude, a
Okay. Okay.
good couple years, Darth Vader hit number one every time.
Nice.
And if you look back on it and think about it, if you grew up, you were a kid, a teenager in that time when Star Wars came out, Darth Vader was an absolute villain.
Right.
He,
Yeah.
he was an absolute villain. And so it wasn't until like us, we're growing up and we see the prequels and everything, going, okay, we get this Jedi, this person kind of transitioning to that. He fell off, right? He
Right.
just transitioned. But if you think about it, man, imagine being, in the 70s, 77 was when episode 4 came out. And then
Right.
you get this, he was a total villain. He was a villain,
Yeah. It's
and he was
terrifying.
big and bold and
Hmm.
just absolutely horrific. The voice, James Earl Jones, shout out, just
Right.
I mean, it
Yeah.
haunted your dreams. And so that's what the ending of Rogue One was for me, because I was watching it, I was like, okay, this is Star Wars, it's cool, they're talking about the Force, the kyber crystals that make the lightsabers, awesome, whatever. Oh shit, they're stealing the plans for the Death Star, awesome. And then at the very end, you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
that's Darth Vader.
Yeah. Exactly. Like not expecting it at all. Just slaughters them.
Dude, it was
Oh,
so
it's
good.
so
It was so
good.
good. So, anyways, yeah. Now when I watch it, like timeline wise, the only reason I watch it is because it does directly tie into the moment the episode 4 starts, but
Yeah.
B,
That's
that
fair.
scene at the end, God, dude, that is just,
Hmm.
that is top
I
tier
mean,
filmmaking.
it does like so much justice for Vader because like I mean he's a complete badass of a villain, but then you think about like all the fight scenes he was in, it was always like really slow, and you're like, all right, if you look at like Obi-Wan fighting, um, uh, oh
Anakin,
my god, Anakin, or like any of those fight scenes from the prequels, you're like, all right, well this is what a real Jedi would look like fighting,
right?
and then Darth, it just became like a cripple fighting cripple in the
And
new
it
episodes.
does, man. That's the shitty thing because it almost looks like a
Yeah, it
basic
feels
sword
like that.
fight.
Right, exactly. But then you see like the Rogue One Darth Vader, and you're like, he just cuts through those troopers like butter. Like there is
Yeah.
just nothing to him, and you're just like, okay, okay, it was just the old movies being old movies.
It's a
That
testament to the times. Unfortunately,
exactly
it's a
right.
testament to the times,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's what
But
it
it just kind
is.
of it justifies it, and you're like, all right, so he is this absolute badass that could have just shredded through whoever he wanted to
Yeah.
at the time. There was a reason why everyone feared him. I don't
So
know. It's so cool. I
one
love
of
that
one of
scene.
the last announcements we had, and this is the last one I want to touch on because this is honestly the one that gets me the most excited.
Hmm. Hmm.
The Obi-Wan Kenobi series is going
Hmm.
to begin filming fucking soon, Patty.
Yeah, like
Soon.
February or something like that, right? Like in a couple
Yes.
months, it's
Yes.
gonna start
And
filming.
also, our
Yeah,
boy Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, him
love
fucking
him or hate
self,
him.
is coming back to play Darth Vader. And you know what? Love him or hate him,
I
oh my God. I'm
yeah,
so hyped
it's gonna
for
be good.
this, dude.
It's gonna be good.
I'm so
I think
hyped.
any scene without Padme, I think Anakin. I think Hayden Christensen was fantastic as Anakin. But it was as soon as he had to do like love scenes and stuff like that, I kind of like
Well, and that's actually a lot of
wasn't
the
convinced of it.
a lot of the
I don't know.
hate, if you look into it, is that cheesy uh, relationship between him and Padme,
Yeah.
which at the same time was great because you got to see Luke and Leia's mother and father fall in love, right?
Sure.
But
Yeah.
it was very cheesy. And then there was something I actually never realized this. I never realized I felt like this or thought like this until just the other day. And truth be told, I think it was, and this almost embarrasses me to say, but a TikTok that I was seeing, and it was talking about how like, so one of the original promotional posters for episode one was young Anakin, the kid that played young Anakin, right? And he's sitting on this thing, and then his shadow is a silhouette of Darth Vader in the helmet,
Yeah. I
right?
remember that.
And
Yeah.
so it makes
Mhm.
sense if you think about it this way. That kind of wanted people to see almost immediately his transition into Vader, right? But what we
Mhm.
got was, are you an angel?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. No,
And
that's a good
so
point.
it was
That's a good
great
point.
because it
Yeah.
did. So like I was saying earlier, that whole how Darth Vader won that number one like villain for so many years on that whatever that fucking countdown was. What that kid Anakin created was this humanity, which it made us fall in
Yeah.
love with Darth Vader. It didn't make us fear him or see him as this almighty villain of this trilogy that we loved. It created an actual character, not just this enigmatic like shadow that just needed to be taken down. Right?
Right.
It
Right.
really gave him more. So it's really hard to choose a side on that because really either side of it is correct.
Yeah. And I think that that's one of the things that I love about the Clone Wars series so much is that it does that even better than the prequels did, like showing that side of Anakin,
Yeah.
how he's human and he's a caring person and he loves the people that he cares about and he'd do anything for them, and he's just a really good guy that like these things happened to him that pushed him in the other direction.
Well, and it
Um,
really coincided with the very end of Return of the Jedi because that's what Luke started to see in him.
yeah, exactly. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, man, I really, truthfully appreciate you doing this with me.
No, anytime, man. I had a blast.
Like I
Love it.
said, dude, I was not trying to gas you up by any means. I have quite literally, I don't give a shit if we ever do another podcast. I would like to just every now and then get in a video chat and just kick it and like talk.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've always wanted to sit and have a, because like, man, we're in discourse together, numerous discords. We're constantly talking. We're in each
Hmm.
other's chats when we're live, and we
Oh yeah.
interact on Twitter. I've always loved you, man. I think you're a
Ah, I love you too, man.
fantastic human
Of course.
being. I love your streams. I love your tweets. I love everything about you. I
Too
think you're
nice.
awesome.
Too nice, man.
Um, trust me, man. It's only to you. It's not to everyone. Okay. I am not just some gaslighting son of a bitch who just gaslights people because for camera's sake. Like I
Oh,
truthfully
it's all good.
mean that. I love you, man. Depending on and much love, sending good vibes his way, depending on how long it takes for Obi John to deal with what he's got going on. I might have you back on if you're down.
Oh man, I would
Um,
absolutely love that.
I mean, dude,
100%.
we got a
Always
fucking
down.
we got a season fucking finale happening this Friday
I
that definitely
know.
needs to
I'm
be
sure we're gonna
talked
have a lot
about.
to talk about. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, chat.
Hell yeah.
Big shout out to Patty for being here, man.
Oh,
You,
thank
you
you.
can
Thank
follow
you.
him on Twitch. It's at Patty Cakes. That's PattyKakezzz. That's three Z's at the very end. You can also find him on Twitter. His mention is the very same thing. Also, go check out his streams. You're all fucking geeks like me. He's a
Hell
fucking
yeah.
geek. We all love it. Okay, the man's a god at Magic the Gathering. I
Oh,
absolutely love him. Be sure to go and join his Discord, The Organized Misfits. The name speaks for itself. It's an absolute blast. I love him. You'll love him. I appreciate y'all being here. We'll have the video for this podcast uploaded to YouTube and at the very least 5 days. I look forward to seeing you all for the next episode.